Okay, so for today's video, I just want to walk you through some questions on bonds valuation as well as stocks valuation as part of your revision. Just some extra questions for you to practice while you are doing your revision for finance. Okay, so let's have a look into the first question over here. So this video, I will walk you through some questions on bonds and stock. Yeah. So the first question over here, Alpha Berhad issue a 9-year corporate bond carrying a coupon rate of 8%. Today's Alpha bond price, okay, the bond price is 1260. Estimate the bond's yield to maturity, which is what we call as the YTM, if the par value of bond is 1000 and the bond pays quarter annual coupon payments. So this is usually the kind of tricky question that you come across in your exam. So sometimes it can be annual, it can be semi-annual, or it can be quarter. So in the year, there'll be four. Okay, quarter means four. That means when we talk about quarter, that means 4 periods in a year. Okay, so now let's do these questions together. Okay, so I will write the workings at the bottom over here. So first of all, the first question here is basically asking us to calculate year to maturity. So this is quarter. Okay, so that means 4 periods. Okay, so let's write the workings over here. Okay, so question A, the workings. So for bonds question, FV always equals to 1000. Okay, and then the present value is 1260. Okay, so 1260. Remember, put the negative sign in your financial calculator. Number of periods, 9 years, but you need to convert into the quarter. So 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, and what about the coupon payments? Coupon payment is, so 8% over here is per year. I will need to divide by 4 because for 4 periods in a year times the 1000. So how much do I get in every period? So I will get 20. Okay, so now I would like to compute year to maturity. Okay, for a year, for the annual one. So I will have to key in everything here. Okay, to compute IY first. So let's put on this together. So second reset enter first, and then 1000 FV. Okay, and then 1260 PV, 36 N, and then 20 PMT, compute IY. So you will get 1.12%. Okay, but this is per quarter. Okay, so it's not the end of the answers yet. Okay, per quarter. Okay, so therefore now I want to convert into year to maturity. So I need to use 1.12% times 4 because in a year there will be 4 periods here. So I times 4, I get 1.12 times 4, I get 4.48% per annum. Okay, per annum compounded quarterly. Okay, so that's the workings for the question A. Okay, so 4.48% per annum compounded quarterly in the year. So this is the workings that you are going to write in your exam if you are using your financial calculator method. So it'll be like 1 mark, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 marks like that. Okay, now, so that's for the first question, which is on quarterly. Okay, now we are going to move on to the next question. Estimate the price of a 7-year coupon bond, okay, issued by Beta Berhad, has a coupon rate of 8%. Assume annual compounding, 1000 par value, and interest rate is 7%. This is annual, so annual one is easy. So we don't have to do any conversion. Okay, we can easily calculate it. So let's work on this together. So for bond questions, is always starting with FV equals to 1000 and then present value. So this one is to calculate estimated price, means to calculate present value. So that means we don't have present value here. Okay, so we have coupon payment, coupon payment 8%. So this one I don't have to make any adjustment. 8% of 1,000. So 8% of 1,000. So how much would it be? So 8% of 1,000 is 80. Okay. Then after that, I will have my number of period, which is 7 year. I don't need to make any adjustment. So straight n equals to 7. And then IY is also 7. No any adjustment is needed. And then compute my PV. So try to key in all this into your financial calculator and see what answers will you be able to get. So 1,000 FV and then 80 PMT, 7N, 7 IY, compute PV. Okay, you will get negative answers because it's present value. 1053.89. That's the answer. 1053.89. Okay, so these are your workings. So these are your workings. 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark, 5 mark, like that. Okay. So moving on. Okay. We move on to next question. Also bonds question. Question C. Okay. So the current price of a 7-year coupon bond, okay, that has a coupon rate of 6% is 950. Okay, that's the current price. Okay, estimate the bonds yield to maturity if the par value of bond is 1,000 and the bonds pay semi-annual. Okay, semi-annual coupon payment. So semi-annual. So semi-annual. Okay, and then they ask you to calculate year to maturity. Okay, so let's do it together. Question C. Okay, for bonds question, FV always equals to 1,000. That's the par value of the bonds. So present value is this one, because it's stated current price of the bond is 950. Okay. And then number of periods. Number of period is 7 times 2 is 14. 14 periods. Coupon payments. Coupon payments is 6% divided by 2 times 1,000. So let's calculate. So this one will be 30. Okay, compute your IY using financial calculator. Okay, so 1,000 FV, okay, 950 negative PV, okay, 14 and then 30 PMT, compute IY, and you will get 3.46%. Remember, this is per half year, per semi-annual. Okay, not the end of the answers yet. This is not the end of the answers yet. Why? Because I want to convert into annual. So YTM, a lot of students forget this step. So make sure that you do not forget this step. You know, whenever you calculate, you must make sure that the rate that you got is annual one. So 3.46% times 2. Why I times 2? Because it's for semi-annual. So 3.46% times 2, you will get 6.92% per annum compounded half yearly. Okay, 6.92% per annum compounded half yearly. Okay, so therefore the answer here is 6.92%. Okay, so usually how the marks being allocated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Okay, now okay, so next question. we are going to look into question D, also on bonds. Estimate the price of a 5-year zero coupon bond with a par value of 1,000 if the year to maturity is 6%. This one, the tricky part is zero coupon bond. Okay, zero coupon bond. That means zero coupon bond means I do not receive anything at all. Okay, my coupon payment is zero. So this kind of investment, right, you only make your returns through the difference in terms of the selling price and the par value. Okay, because you don't receive any coupons in between. So the only profits, the only returns, the only gains that you could get is only the difference in terms of the selling price and the par value. Like for example, if let's say you buy at a very cheap price, okay, let's say below $1,000, and by the time you receive the par value, you get 1,000. So that the returns in between is the profits that you gain. So let me show you. Okay, so question D here. Okay, let's work on the estimate the price. That means the present value. Okay, so FV equals to 1,000. And then number of period is 5, and then the IY. Okay, IY is 6. Okay, year to maturity is IY, and your coupon payment is 0. So you compute your PV, you will get the answer straight away. So let me calculate and see what answer will you be able to get. 1,000 FV 5N 6 IY 0 PMT, compute PV, you will get 747.26. So that's your answers. 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, 4 mark, 5 mark. Okay, 747.26. You will definitely get a negative sign because it's a PV value. Okay, so how you make money from this investment? So usually you make profits. Okay, through profits are only from the difference between the selling price and the bonds par value. So meaning to say, selling price is this one, 747.26. Okay, 747.26. Par value is 1,000. So let's say you buy the bonds at this price, 747.26. At the end, you get this par value. So in between, you make the gains, you make the profits. Okay, because for this question, your PMT is 0. You do not receive anything in between. So therefore, that's the only profits that you could get from this zero coupon bond. Okay, so these are the bonds questions. Now let's move on to have a look into stocks valuation. So usually stocks valuation question will be more tricky, will be more challenging. My suggestion is you will need to draw the timeline, okay, in order for you to be able to compute accurately. So let's have a look into the first question here first. A stock just paid $1 dividend, just paid. So this one is T0. You predict that the dividend will grow at 10% for the 3 years, okay? And then you can sell the stock at 30 after receiving the third dividend in year 3. Take note, you sell it off. You sell the stock at $30. That means at the end you sell off. So that means you do not hold the stock for forever, okay? If you make the bid based on 6% rate of return, compute how much you offer to buy this stock. That means I would like to calculate the present value of the stock. Okay, now take note, stocks valuation. Remember one important tips that I already mentioned in class is that stock valuation, okay, you need to take note whether it's for finite period or infinite periods. Okay, meaning to say, you need to see whether you hold the stock for a specific period of time and sell it off, finite period, or you hold it for forever. Okay, for finite period means you hold the stock for a specific period of time. That means at the end you will sell it off. Infinite means you hold it for forever. You hold it for infinite. Okay, because the way of how you calculate the formula that you're going to use will be different. Okay, so I can draw the timeline first to avoid mistake. Okay, so I will draw a timeline like this. Okay, in year 0, okay, at the end, I want to calculate present value. Okay, will grow at 10% for 3 years, okay, and sell the stock at $30. Okay, so after receiving third dividend in year 3, so I only hold for year 1, year 2, and year 3. Okay, well, the growth rate G is 10% for 3 years. Okay, at the end, I will sell it off at the price of $30. Okay, remember, this is what we call as finite period. So this question is finite period. I only hold the stock for a specific period of time. Okay, in Mandarin 就是说我如果买这个 investment 的话，我只是 hold 到第3年而已。所以 for 这一题，当你做这个 stock valuation，你不能随便用那些你之前我们学过那些 formula， 就好像什么 constant growth model、dividend growth model 或者 supernormal growth model， 这些我都不能用。因为什么？因为这一题它算的是 finite period， 所以就是说我今天要用算的方式是用普通 cash flow 的方式。Okay, so therefore to calculate for this question, I will need to calculate what? I will need to calculate dividend in year 1, dividend in year 2, and dividend in year 3 plus this $30. I want to compute all this in order later on to discount everything back to calculate my present value using the cash flow function to calculate the NPV. Remember to calculate the NPV using the cash flow function using a financial calculator. 所以这一题不一样的地方就是在于它不是 infinite period， 它是 finite period， 所以在考试要看好来。如果它最后是有卖掉 in year 3的，就是 finite period。Okay, you see, at the end, he sold it off at the $30. 所以这个$30 need to be factored in. Okay, 所以 okay, so I need to calculate D1, D2, D3, and then later I need to plus $30. So how are we going to go on this? So let's do this together. Okay, so first of all, D0 is how much? $1. So D0 is $1. So now I can calculate D1. How to calculate D1? D0 bracket 1 plus G. Okay, so $1 bracket 1 plus G. G is 10%, 0.1. Okay, so this one, you will get 1.1. Okay, then D2 equals to D1 bracket 1 plus G. So D1 is 1.1 bracket 1 plus G. Okay, so make sure you don't make any mistake while you calculate. Okay, so this one is 1.21. All these will have marks. Okay, so D3 equals to D2 bracket 1 plus G. Okay, so D2 is basically 1.21 bracket 1 plus G. Okay, so 1.21 bracket 1.21 bracket 1 plus 0.1, you will get 1.331. Okay, so now here is 1.1, here is 1.21, okay, here is 1.331. Okay, remember later I need to add on this $30 also. Okay, now what we're going to do, we are going to use the cash flow function. Okay, second, reset, enter. Okay, make sure you press second, reset, enter in your financial calculator and use the cash flow function. Okay, so you press cash flow, CF0 is 0, C01 is 1.1, okay? How many times you receive this? 1, okay? Frequency is 1. C02 is 1.21. Okay, how many times you receive this? Also 1. Okay, C03, you must add it up. 1.331 plus 30. Because you sign off, you also receive $30 when you sell off the stock. Okay, F03, also 1. Frequency of receiving the cash flow is 1. So, and you press NPV. I is how much? Your rate of return is 6%. The return that you're expecting. Okay, so 6, and you press compute, you get answers. Let me try and you press this into financial calculator first. Okay, second, reset, enter. Okay, cash flow. Okay, 1.1, enter. 1.21, enter. And then 1.331 plus 30. Okay, 1.331 plus 30. Okay, so 31.33. Okay, then after that, press NPV and then 6, enter, then press compute. So you will be able to get 28.42. Okay, that is your answers. So try and see if you can get the answers right. So that is the stock intrinsic value. This is what we call as the stock's intrinsic value. Okay. So how the marks being allocated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, usually like that. Usually here we'll have some marks as well. But these are your workings. Okay, and then okay, so let's say I ask you if the stocks market value is, for example, $30, will you buy? So you see, if stocks market value is $30, but then the stock's internal value, the intrinsic value, is only how much? It's only 28.42. So it's lower, right? So you will not buy. Okay, you will not buy. Okay, because why? Because intrinsic value is lower than the market value, so not worthwhile. Okay, unless the market value is lower than that, then only you will proceed with that. Okay, because the market value is way higher, but the actual internal value is only $28.42 over here, so less worthwhile. Okay, so therefore the tricky part for this question is that it's for finite period. Okay, finite periods. Okay, next question. Question B. Suppose Gamma Berhad is expected to increase dividend by 25% in 1 year and by 10% in the next 2 years. After that, dividends will increase at a rate of 5% per year indefinitely. Indefinitely. So this is infinite period. Okay, for question B. Okay, infinite periods. You will hold the stock for a long period of time. Okay, so compute the price of the stock. Okay, so you are calculating the price of the stock. If the last dividend was $3 and the required return is 15%. Okay, so compute the price of the stock. That means present value of the stock. Okay, or you can call it as NPV. Last dividend D0. Okay, so my suggestion is for stocks question, you can draw the timeline first. If not, it will be too difficult for you. Okay, so draw the timeline first. This one is what we call as supernormal growth. Year 0, year 1. Okay, so dividend increased by 25% in 1 year. So G is 25%, you write like this. And then 10% in the next 3 years. After that, dividends will increase at 5% indefinitely. Forever. Okay, so remember, at the end is for forever. Okay, for forever, infinite. So this is what I call as infinite. Okay, you hold the stock for forever. Okay, and then last dividend. So D0 is $3. And required return is 15%. Okay, now we can calculate already. Okay, so therefore, here is what we call a supernormal growth. Why? Because the growth rates are different. But from year 4 onwards, it's the same for forever. Here is only same for forever. So meaning to say, from year 4 onwards, then only I can use the constant growth methods. So I can calculate P3 later on here because I can calculate the P3 using the constant growth method because from year 4 onwards, it will be constant growth. Here is constant growth. So I can use the constant growth methods later on from year 4 onwards. So I can calculate P3, okay? Because from year 4 onwards, it will be the same. The growth rate will be the same forever. So what happened is, what is different here is D1, D2, and D3 will be different. So later in year 3, apart from the D3, I will need to factor in P3 as well. Okay, I will need to factor in the P3 as well because the P3 calculation is for the computation of year 4 onwards. Okay, so meaning to say in Mandarin is that 从第4年开始，它就已经是 constant growth 了，所以我不可能每年去算，因为它不可能算到完嘛，因为它是 infinite 嘛，所以我可以直接把它 compress 用那个 constant growth method 算那个 P3 的值，所以 P3 的值就可以算进去 year 3的值里面哦。OK， 因为当我算 P3 的值，我就会用 year 4的 info 嘛，记得吗？我们要算今天的 stock price 就是要用明年的那个dividend 跟明年的那个 growth rate。所以我们就算 B3，因为 B3 就已经算了接下来的那个就接下来的那些 values 了，所以呢，我就一个个先算。OK， 所以现在我要算的是present value is how much? Okay, so net present value. So let's work on it together. D1 equals to D0 bracket 1 plus G. D0 is $3 bracket 1 plus G. 3.75. Okay, D2 equals to D1 bracket 1 plus G. G is 10%, in year 2. So usually for this question, you draw timelines so that you will never make mistake. Okay, D3. D3, I will use D2 bracket 1 plus G. D2 is 4.125. 1 plus G. Okay. Now, P3, to calculate P3, I will need to use constant growth method, dividend growth model. D4 divided by R minus G. Okay. So I don't have D4 yet. So I can continue calculate D4 here. D3 bracket 1 plus G. Okay. 4.5375 bracket 1 plus G. G is how much? 5% here. Huh? 0.05. Okay. This D4 here is only for my calculation of P3, but I don't have to key in as part of my cash flow later on because I compute everything into P3 already. Okay. Okay, this one is only for my P3 calculation. Okay, R is how much? 15%. Okay, so 0.15. What about growth rate? You take this one, okay? Next year one. Remember, to calculate the stock price in current year, you will need to use the dividend in next year and the growth in next year. Okay, so therefore, 0.05. This is a long question. So key into your calculator and see what value will you be able to get. Okay, so now you get all the values ready. Okay, now you can use the cash flow function to factor in all these values. So that means these three must add up together, huh? Because after that is constant growth ready. So we don't need to calculate every single year anymore. Okay, so now let's use the let me move this up a bit. Okay, so now let's use the cash flow function. Second, reset, enter. Okay, use the cash flow function. Press cash flow. Okay, remember to press second reset enter. If not, all the previous value will be stored in your history. CF0 equal to 0. C01 is 3.75. Frequency is 1. Okay, 4.125. Frequency is also 1. 4.5375. Oh, this one need to add on. Take note. In year 3, you receive 4.5375 plus 47.644. Make sure you add it up. Okay, so let me write smaller a bit. So this one, 4.5375 plus 47.644. Okay, you also receive one time. Okay, then after that, you press NPV. Okay, I is how much? Required rate of return is 15%. 15. Okay. And then you press compute, you get the answers. Try and see. Remember to press enter after you key in all these values. Remember, a lot of students forget to press enter and get different value. Remember to press enter after you press all these value into a financial calculator. Because especially this C03, a lot of students after they key in these, they got the answers ready. When they add this up together, they get 52.18. They forgot to press enter. Must press enter. If not, you will miss that out, okay? And then you will get 40.69. That's the answer, okay, for this question. A lot of students make mistake because they really forget to press enter. Especially this one, please, this one. After you get the values, okay, after you get the values for this cash flow in year 3, 52.18, you make sure you press enter, okay? Don't forget to press enter, okay? So let me write here. Don't forget to press enter after key in the CF values. Okay, don't forget to press enter after keying all the cash flow values. Okay, so how the marks being allocated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Usually it will be like that. So usually it will carry at least like 12 marks like that already. Like usually it will be 10 to 12 marks like that. Depending on how the question being asked, but these are your workings. Okay, so supernormal growth. So this question is supernormal growth. Supernormal, or what we call as non-constant growth. So make sure you don't make mistake, especially this part. Or when you are checking, right, make sure when you check by your financial calculator, you check by the cash flow value, make sure each cash flow value is being keyed in, okay, and press enter. Okay, last question on stock valuation. Okay, no more already. Okay, Delta Berhad just paid $10 dividend on his stock. Just paid E0. The company will pay the same dividend for the next 7 years. And then you believe that you can sell the stock for $20.20 in the end of year 7. Same dividend. So D0 is 10. Same dividend for the next 7 years means how much? Same dividend means it's still $10 for 7 years. At the end, you sell off the stock. So finite or infinite periods? Think properly. Estimate the current share price. Estimate the share price. If the required return of the stock is 9%. So means what? Calculate the present value of the stock price. Estimate, okay? Calculate. Estimate means calculate. So R is 9%. You at the end, you sell it off. So this is what called as finite period. You hold the stock for a specific period of time only. If you draw the timeline, how it will look like. Okay, so year 0, year 1, year 2, until year 7. So now you want to calculate the present value of the stock. Every year you receive because D0 is $10. So every year you receive 10, the same until year 7, plus at the end, you get $20.20 because you start off. So you factor in all these values, okay, to calculate the present value. So straight away, we can use the cash flow function. Second, reset enter. Okay, and then we use the cash flow function. Okay, CF0 is 0. C01 is 10. You receive $10. Now you don't have to go and write until C07. Too much. So I will receive how many times for $10? I will receive 6 times first. 6 times $10. Why not 7? Why not 7? Because in the year 7, I received $10 plus this one. So it's different value. So for the 6 years, it will be the same value. So only in year 7, I will receive the $10 and 20.20. Okay. So 10 plus 20.20. Remember to press enter later on. So you receive 1 time for this. So this is why 6 plus 1 equals to 7 years. 7 years of cash flow. Okay, then you press NPV. I is how much? 9%. And then you press compute, you get the answers. Remember to press enter every time you key in the cash flow value. So try and see if you can get the value right. Remember the F is frequency, the frequency of you receiving the cash flow. How many times you receive the cash flow? You will get 61.38. Okay, 61.38. So these are your workings. So you don't have to key in one by one. You can straight use the shortcuts. Okay, because you receive 6 times of these $10, you receive 1 time of this amount. Okay, so these are the questions that I would like to take it as a practice, because usually for bonds calculation and stocks valuation, usually students will make mistake, especially stocks valuation, because it's more challenging, more tricky. Okay, so therefore my suggestion is when you do your stock valuation, you can draw timeline so that it can give you a better picture in terms of how to calculate it. Yeah. So these are the questions I would like to try as part of your revision. Okay, so so therefore I provided here 4 questions on bonds and 3 questions on stock. Okay, just for your revision. Try to practice more for stock valuation, because for stock valuation, students always make mistake. So most importantly is when you press into your financial calculator, make sure you don't make any mistake. Like don't forget to press enter. Like same with this one, when you key into your calculator, don't forget to press enter after you key in the cash flow value. Okay, so yeah, that's all for this video. Just a quick revision only for the 2 chapters.